Okay, Joseph. Here you are. Hey guys, so that you would have something to do, you can type where you're from. Okay, where you joining from. And I will type it also here. Okay, Larry, hello, and hi, Jason from Columbus. Okay. All right. We have a couple more people. Now everybody can talk, but guys, nobody wants to.
Hey, Mark, can I ask you
Okay,
something?
please, that's what I want you.
Oh,
Ask
sure, sure.
me something.
Yeah, I
Yes.
sent you an email. I just wanted to talk to you a few things. Do we talk after the meeting or what do you
Yeah,
think?
we can talk after the meeting. Right. I
Right.
saw your email, I remember, but I didn't know what you wanted. So we'll
Sure, sure.
talk.
Yeah, let's talk. Yeah, yeah. And do
Mm,
we do over the phone or we can just continue in this meeting?
Your choice. Whatever you want.
We can continue here. Yeah.
We can, if it's no secret, then we can just continue.
Sure.
But keep in mind, maybe some people will want to listen. That's okay with me.
Okay.
Okay, guys. Now I think we can start more or less. It's 12:02 Central Time. So I keep all the windows here so that I can still see your questions and allow all of you to talk. Okay, so I gave you the link. Well, so good morning, good afternoon, if that happens to be afternoon. Here, I gave you that link, and if you open it, you will see, okay, you will see that page. The only thing is that I don't see the, oh yeah, you're joining right here. You see, these in anonymous pictures mean that you're joining. And for those who are new to the format, this is what you have. That's called Advances in AI. So it's egoistical desire to be pushed. I have to learn something new every week, or try something new every week, and that's why I started. And I think it's working, at least for me. I hope it works for you. Right now, I need to silence someone. I don't know who it was, but he or she silent himself or herself. Okay. Here, and that is the webinar folder. So whatever is happening, I usually print it, prepare. There is a download folder. If you click, you will see that. That is the learning path because it's the most common question. What should I learn? So let's go there for just a second. Here's what you should learn. And of course, it's too much, right? And not only that, but that list goes to the latest Ender in offering, where he says, guys, I prepared something for you to learn. It seems like I need to sign in, which is a good illustration. Yes, you need to sign in. And it seems like it doesn't matter which account. I have too many of these accounts, and I suspect it's my learning account usually. Yes, continue, but it somehow magically works. And these are all the courses that I have been collecting from Andrew Ng's newsletters. So my list is about 25, 30. Well, his list is no less, and essentially it's the same list. Whatever he shows as the latest and greatest, that's what I will also show. So I'm a fan, you can call it this way. That's number one. Number two is we looked at the learning path, and on that learning path, I would recommend start from the beginning. Maybe I should be a bit more specific. So I'm opening that again. Beginning is right here. It's not 1, 2, 3. It's 4. It's 4. LLM prompt engineering is playing on the popular hot keyword prompt engineer. It's not as popular anymore. The fad went away. Prompt engineer is not a profession, but that teaches you how to politely talk to ChatGPT, and by the way, how to script the talking so that you don't just type, but you code. That's number one. And number two is here, LangChain. This is the next technology. Okay. So that's what you can learn, but you can learn any one of them, and you can ask me for personal recommendations. Okay, and more people came, so I'm clicking on allow to talk for everyone here. Hi Paul, hi John. And some very nice names here. Okay, so now we're all here. Okay, we're saying that's the resource that you can always use. That is today. By the way, what went out as a reminder is not exactly what it is, because I just did it the very last minute on Thursday, and it went out earlier than that, but that's what we're going to talk about. We'll talk about Google for Startups and, well, Microsoft for Startups and Amazon for Startups, because I had some direct experience with all three. Next is there was a wonderful lecture on how to read an LLM paper, and here are all the links here. So I will look at the slides that they offered. That's here. You can also listen to the lecture. I think it's wonderful. Two beautiful ladies and very smart three, and talk about this. And then we'll go with the example. How do you read a paper as a Mistral paper? And then I will give you an update on the Sky program. The demo is ready, the program officially started. So maybe you will be interested in this program, but that's later. Okay, so kind of news to talk about is that there are too many news. And that's what we will see in this how to read the LLM paper. So here's the news about Google for Startups. Well, here it is. I applied, okay, and get the credits. And they promise a lot of credits. Look, $200,000. And if you say that you are an AI startup, then 350,000. But sorry to disappoint you, not so fast. That is because pretty soon after I applied, I got a reply that, sorry to say, but you are not sponsored by anybody. So they took an easy way out. Their competition, of course, is Microsoft. And Microsoft seems to show that it's a game for big boys. Why? because they throw those same amounts at you, almost, maybe I'm wrong to say, but almost don't ask. They don't really, let me close that. They don't really check, and they say, here's your $25,000 in credits on Azure. And that's where it is. Let me show you. It really is right now working for me. It's here. I'm not sure where I will see those credits, but I think they are in the subscriptions. So if we go to subscriptions, here you are. That's the sponsorship, and that's, well, it works. Okay, that's Microsoft. Google is against them, but it seems like Google doesn't want to throw money. So the reply you get, you need to be in one of the incubators. So we are not going to research you. We'll let the incubators do it. So I get a refusal, no, because I'm not in any incubator. And that limits the amount of work they have to do, the amount of money they have to give out. And honestly, I don't see a humongous reason at that point. Maybe trying to grab at least those startups that are kind of marginal. On the one hand, they are with money because they are part of some incubator. But on the other hand, how come they're not in Google? But Google is out. The same way is with Amazon. Amazon came with their offer two times. One is last week, where they said, oh, we are Amazon, we are your team for startups. And then I said, okay, so I'm implementing it on Azure. What do you give me? And they said, well, you need to tell us what you do, and we will look at it. I said, well, wait, guys, that's not serious. Microsoft just gives it to you, okay? This morning, there came another letter which said, here is your offer, not personal. Everybody got that letter, okay? So I did apply again, and it said, oh, well, first of all, only $1,000. Don't think of big numbers. And even that, we're not giving to you because you already had it. All right, so all of them out, and I would say that's why it is a game for big boys. Microsoft today has more money than probably anybody, right? And especially with their successes driven by AI. And everybody else, my personal opinion, is well behind in money and in their AI effort. Of course, what am I to say? But that's my personal experience. So if you have a startup, apply to Microsoft. Don't waste your time on anything else. Next, there was this wonderful lecture. You know, I'll start with the slides right away because you will be able to listen to this yourself. So here is the slide. The wonderful slide. And what I suggest is that let's just look at the beginning. Yeah, that's them. And let's discuss. The whole purpose is discussion and what you think about this, what I think about this. So the first big question, why should you read research papers? And they emphasize that, of course, you can say to a friend that, why don't you read my paper? Like my wife says, you need to listen to this. And I have to, absolutely. But if you have a luxury of having a guy whom you task with something, you can tell him read research papers, or you can avoid this by doing in many different ways. But they ask you. Now, in the end, I don't think they give a good answer. I think there is no reason why you personally should read research papers. I'll show you what would be the benefit if you do. But okay, but it's like Shakespeare, one of my favorite sonnets. I will not read the whole thing, that would be unfair. But in the end, he says, but why to love? I can admit no cause. So why you should read research papers according to Shakespeare? There is no reason. But what are the benefits? Well, the benefits is not encouraging, okay, to kill joy. Let's put it this way. Why? Because they will not make it easy. No, not at all. They will make it hard. All right. But then they say there are a few ways. They tell you there are a few kinds of papers and even try to do it. So let us do this. How to find them? That's later on. There will be a lot of good sources. Is there one great newsletter? Unfortunately, no. You might start with Andrew Ng newsletter from Deep Learning AI, but even that depends upon what you want, what you like in life. That's whole humanity loves different things. So that's why you have to do your own. It's like somebody else will tell you, I went to the mountains, I found the meaning of life there, but maybe your meaning of life is in your place, right? So you will find the papers, I'll show you how, but the thing is that we are born to work, and that is one of the things, according to them, you have to do. Read your own papers. The major answer is that it's just too much happening. That's why you need to do it yourself. You can't rely on anything else. And of course, I personally dislike newspapers and all kinds of medium publications because they're just to waste your time, exactly for that purpose, nothing else, and to get clicks for the authors. But at least these slides will teach you what you should read in case you decide to read. And if you read, there are three kinds of papers. There are survey papers. That is if you feel that perhaps you're working with this area. Maybe you heard about RAG, but you're afraid you missed something. Maybe the development went away. Maybe it's not here now. So this survey will probably give you that. Another one is data sets and benchmarks. That's very specific. I don't think most people should read this. And breakthroughs, well, that's one of the papers we will look at today, and you will decide. So that is the plan. And Ariza is one of the companies that's promoting this. So how do they come to read papers? Well, they will tell you, but that won't help us because look how much is happening, right? That's an example of what's going on. All right. And the best way is still to accept that much is happening. It's hard to do it unless you read it. So, okay. Now let's look at how many papers there are. That's what? Oh, that's the market size. Okay. Of course, very big market size, no doubt. But that's how many papers. I remember that Jeff Dean came to Rice University here in Houston, and I usually use the rule that you should try to meet those great guys. It makes a tremendous impression. In this case, I remember he starts his lecture with that same slide, and then he shows that the way it goes, every human person on Earth will publish a paper in quite foreseeable future. So they don't go too far. You say 23. But his graph went to 2050, and I think billions of papers would be published by that time. So, not encouraging, right? That's not great. What can we do? Well, these are the resources. These slides you will really want to download either from YouTube or from here, from my source, and you will see these other sources. Now, of course, that's still too much. That's still too much, and you will choose your favorite. Otherwise, again, it is too much. That is an interesting thing. It's called Ariza AI paper readings. So they read together a paper once a week, and they say that if you do that, at least there will be one paper reading in your baggage. Try that. Meetups. But look at that whole list. You are going to spend your whole life doing this. So of course you have to be selective, and they will immediately show you the way how to be selective. And that's right here. That's really very important. Because in the end, when we're going through the paper, you will see that one lady asks another, so what was your source to think that that paper was really important? What did you see in that? And she answers, there was nothing else but looking at these 10 bloggers, Twitters, and just listening to what they have to say. Now, let's see. I know Andrew Karpati, Jeff Dean, and that's all I know. Jan LeCun, okay? So that's 3. I know 3. Okay? So if I do a little competition, so I know 3 minutes. Okay. Well, how many names do you know? No names? No names, put a 0. 1, okay. Just knowing the names of people, Lawrence, right? Okay, 1 name, all right. Oh, Demis Hassabis. That's the guy whom I read about just recently. So I know 4. Okay, 4. That's because he is one of the founders of DeepMind, and just recently there was a news item that he went to work for Microsoft. Okay, so that's it. Okay, I think that is exactly the source. So it turns out that that whole environment is very fluid, very dynamic, and yes, we'll go to the papers, we'll go to the sources, but it seems that's the best. Okay. Okay. Now, okay, I hear something that shouldn't be here. Here you are. Okay, that's the paper. But then they talk about the types of research papers, and we will look at every one of them. We will look at survey, and there will be one great survey. Okay, well, I think the great usability of that is how to know what is a survey and what is not. Because again, when some people just write for search engine optimization, that is not a survey, it's just marketing of them. But that is probably a survey. Now, especially when, as you can see, it's in archive right here. So I will, no, I'm not going to go there. It is an archive, that is an archive, and that is an archive. So it seems like, yes, it should be called a survey, but it should come up ideally from this archive, because that's already not anybody who can put things there. Good examples: instruction tuning for large language models. That's how you tell it what to do, how to behave. And retrieval augmented generation, that's the same RAG that people will talk about. And a survey of large language models. The lecturers actually tell us about that survey, and they say that it's a little bit old, 2023. That's how the time goes. It's almost retired, but still it's a good example. Now, once in a while, we, in our conversations here, we're asking, is there a good place to learn about all of them? Well, that kind of publication is a good place. Before, I would point you to a dashboard, and that dashboard usually has user rated or something like that. That's nothing compared to these authoritative things. So please, if you consider being anywhere, then it seems like you need to start somewhere. So go to one of the surveys, one of them, and just and just read it. So let's copy the link. I know it won't open right here from PDF, but we'll open it here. Okay, that's the paper. And then what you do is, okay, March 14, 24. That has some life in it, right? So in this case, I will download that, right? And I will probably not even call it something else. Download, and then I have to print it because sometimes you need to concentrate and it's easier that way. And besides, on Saturday, I don't use the computer. So I will have a printed copy, which is by itself also doubtful, but I will do it. So back to the slides. That's the survey. The next step is that's how you go through a survey. That's a survey of RAG and more survey of RAG. That's kind of thing that you will do. But they will teach you that you don't have to go very deep. Let's end as an example. Let's look at one of the papers. So one of the papers that we will look is no, not benchmarking. That's specifically. But again, here, look at one of them. Look at again, they all are from the archive, so trusted source. And look at one of them just to see what a breakthrough paper is. We're going to look at Mistral. That's not Mistral, it's Mistral of experts. We'll look at that. So first, you need to dip your toe and do at least a little reading. And then let's look at an example. Okay, so for that, let's go all the way to all the way to the end. Well, that's where we'll come to. Now they are discussing what's next. Okay, I prepared that paper for you here. And that's the Mistral. So how do I know it's a good paper? Well, that's because these bloggers talk about that. When the paper came out, they all exchanged, oh, that's a good paper. They gave the link. That attracts your attention immediately. How do you read it? You don't read too much. You just get the most of the abstract. If you feel that that was too much already, then you don't go any further. If you do, then of course you look deeper. But now they say instruct the surpasses and now the claims. That's all you look at. You see, it surpasses GPT 3.5 Turbo. Okay. To me, that's not a big achievement. So we'll go back. We'll come back to this. It also surpasses all of this and Llama. So it has some substance, right? It surpasses some of the same class layers. So you see that and you think, why do I need it? I have ChatGPT and that beats everybody. It doesn't beat ChatGPT 4 and ChatGPT 5 is coming out sometime. There is a talk on YouTube about that. So this talk is with Lex Friedman and Sam Altman. It is 2 hours, too much. So I will listen to it by next week and I'll tell you what it was. But you need to put that in perspective. Again, it's a game for big boys, and big boys means about $1 billion to train. So not everybody has that, and that's really it's not wasted. But those $2 billion are not that $1 billion is not coming back. So it really is an investment. Do you have it? Maybe not. I don't. All right. Now let's look in its class. How good it is. Well, this is a serious claim. And what it says, I'm a smaller model, but I get pretty much the same results. So that is where you put it. You put it into another model, series. It is open. So the big difference between that and ChatGPT is that it is open. And then some other things. That's how you would read it. Of course, if you're interested now, Now here's the whole paper. Okay, now I am almost done with the slides. So what I want to do is to finish up these slides and then look at your comments and then show you some of the practical things that are happening. Okay, so now let's say what is next, and that is major thing. The space is moving faster than that allows. Now, if you remember, Alice is talking to the queen, and if you run fast, says Alice, then you'll get somewhere. And the queen says, in our place, we must run fast to even stay in place. That's exactly it, right? That's what Lewis Carroll was predicting. The research is going too fast. Well, at least if you are reading something, at least it is moving for you. Maybe you stay in place, maybe you will move forward. So again, you cannot learn it all. But if you don't learn anything, then you don't get anything. That's what they say. And then talk about contributions. So I'm closing that, looking at your comments. Thanks. Question from Lawrence: does the archive summarize many other papers? Mostly not. Mostly it's one of those, and that is not that we need. Okay. Okay. Mostly not. Mostly it's one of the three kinds of papers there are there. An overview of everything. So it's not summary of other papers. It's where are we in this land? The land survey, or it's a breakthrough new paper, or some kind of specific data optimization. So, Lawrence, sorry, I would say little hope for somebody giving you a summary. Of course, some of these may be helpful. Yes, helpful, maybe a little summary, but nobody really summarizes papers because simply let's look at literature, right? Do you want the paper that summarizes the best books of the year? Obviously, it's impossible. Now, keep in mind that ChatGPT will not help. I remember how the Greg, I think his name is Greg Walkman, he is the CEO or was the CEO, and he said that's where our tool is very, very weak, because to really evaluate its quality, you need to read the book and when it summarizes, and who wants to read the book? Well, okay, that's a different view of life. Some people think that that's the purpose of life, reading books, and everything else is secondary. But he told us that no, ChatGPT doesn't summarize well, doesn't understand. So no, Lawrence, if you hope that you will be, let's say, given a leave not to read it, they don't leave you that. Ever come across in material how to read the research paper? Have heard just the process of deciphering? Yes, deciphering. So I promised a Mistral paper. Yes, and I think the best way is to now listen to the ladies, because they do the same thing but much better than I do. I'm only teasing your interest here. Okay, that's what I saw here. Usually I stop, shut up, and allow you to ask questions, but I see that you are asking questions already. So what I'm doing now is going to the list of participants and allowing those to talk who I haven't done as yet. And therefore you can just interrupt anytime. Okay. And I will show you something else that I'm doing. I already mentioned that. So let's go back here. So we covered the papers as well as I possibly could here. And I left you with a lot of things to do. That's not your regular news talking head who leaves you feeling good. Next is the Sky program. So what is the Sky program? Well, the whole story is that I got this. I got Microsoft startup. I got $25,000 credits. And with that, I started an enormous amount of virtual machines. And I said, guys, whoever wants to join and get a virtual machine, pretty hefty virtual machine, 4 CPUs and 16 gigabytes of RAM. Well, just apply. Those people who apply, they have a chance that they will get accepted. And the only thing that they have to promise is that they will actually do something, meaning that they will run these machines and they will come up with their use cases. So I have this application, which I will give you. Right now, it's right here. That's my Skype program. I called it Skype for no reason. And that is the application. Right. And, well, I have more people already. Okay. And that is the link. Well, I can give it the link this way. I can say send, give me the link, shorten. Okay. So I'll put it back on the on our page. Okay. All right. So people apply and they come up with all kinds of cases. Now, what is the case? I mean, the e-discovery, but it's more than e-discovery. I'll show you the machine. It comes to you as an RGP, so that's an easy way to connect. Then you connect through the RGP, and the RGP is well-known protocol. And doesn't work me today. Maybe it was already running. I'll make it work, no doubt. All right, I'll go to any one of these programs, to any of the machines that I gave. Here's Sky. Here's the inventory. And I'll get, where did all IPs go? Look at that. That is strange, but you know, in a situation like this, anything can happen. So we will simply go to Alan Bernstein and steal the IP from him here. That's IP. All right, with that IP, I need to open my machine here, replace the IP, and hope that it will connect. Amazing, right? So right away things don't work. Well, in any case, when it works, then you get a whole virtual machine for e-discovery, but it also gives you an AI. So therefore, you can just load your documents, then you can run a regular search against these documents, and then you can ask AI questions about these documents. That's all in this machine. It runs for you. I need to check why it doesn't run, but that's another thing. Well, that's the program, and I already started having questions and improvements and all pouring. So if you're interested in maybe not in discovery, that's more specific area, but just here's my data. I loaded that into Freed, and then I'm asking questions. That's what would work for you. Well, okay, I covered that. I wanted to impress you with this demo, and instead it didn't work. Well, that's my rule. Demos never work, and I need to find out why that one didn't. But in any case, I showed enough. So I'm stopping the demo show, and I am mute. And that will give you the chance to chat and ask questions, or just ask them.
I can jump in and ask one question, Mark.
Yes, please.
I missed last session, but
Uh-huh.
I had asked about whether the deep learning .ai courses are paid or free. I see that you have marked them as free. Just
Yes.
wanted one clarification. Are those for the short courses or for what are marked specializations? I've not tried, but I'm sorely tempted, didn't want to run into a wall. Would you happen to know? Deep
Good
learning has
question.
two kinds of
It
things.
has two kinds of two kinds of learning, and I'll show you. I'm opening that again, opening that list of courses. That's all found here. Right, let's open. That's the learning path. And by the way, I find that list useful because I have some people who come to me just kind of an intern. They want to do something, okay? And I'm telling them, okay, do you know that now? So let us start. Okay, let me show you. Generative AI for Everybody is advertised as a 2-week course about, I think, 4 hours, 5 hours a day, but not every day. So it's reasonable. It's introduction to everything, not very deep, but you'll be current in basic terminology. I do not recommend that to start. I recommend this one to start, and then you can go deeper or wider. So if I'm answering your question, they're all free. They're mostly short courses. The advertised situation is that it is, guys, you can do it anytime. But the real truth is that, first of all, if you open it, let's open. So the first thing that happens is that you can listen. To really have fun, you need to allow me to stop share. Stop share, and I start share again, but this time with the sound. I should always share with the sound. Okay, so when you open that first course, which you say you have not tried, so bad boy, but you need to, and you start the course.
Welcome to this course on ChatGPT Prompt.
Yes, you get the wonderful Andrew Ng and some of his assistants. And then you look into next chapter, you start listening to that. And at the same time that you listen to it, the notebook appears. So they even keep it current. There is a new situation now and a new API, but they updated it. Okay? So it will work. So you can run through that, but it's kind of watching TV because you have not done anything. The next step is run them in your environment. Well, I won't trouble you with hard work. Here is your environment. That's my copy of that, where I verified that it works. It is open on my educational company, OpenScale. Here it is. You can clone that and you can run it. And now, if you clone it to your local machine or to any other machine, you're doing the real thing. And then you discover that, oh, I need an OpenAI key. So here is no help because when you run it in the environment here, the key is somewhere, it's hidden, but it exists. Well, they don't give you the key, and so I don't give you the key either. Where is the key found? Well, the key is found in .env, which is not here. .env file, which you put into the root of the directory. That's where all the environment variables are coming from. So step by step, first you can listen and watch and even run, but that's not real run because it's running in the environment. Then you download, clone, do it on your own, get the keys, and start paying at this point. But it's very small sense, and probably they will give you some free credits. Many companies start with free credits. Okay, does that answer your question?
Yes. I was also wondering if between the short courses and specializations that they offer, if there is any cost-related differences.
I think it's like that. If you go through the course, it's still free. But if you want a certificate, now you pay like $70.
It's just like Coursera.
Yes.
Awesome. Thank you.
Because
Appreciate
it's by the same founder.
Yes, right.
Okay.
Thank you.
I see some. Thank you very much for asking. I see some more. Let's talk on this on Zoom. Okay. Yes. Let's we will. Okay. All right, guys. That's great. I showed you how you can become an expert. And now let's be back to this slides. So that same Andrew Ng, when he was asked, and that was about 3 years ago or 2 years ago, that was not ChatGPT time yet. And he was asked, well, how do you become an expert in this? He said, you read the paper. Well, that's essentially what they advocate. Then you replicate these results. Well, that's already more than what they talk about because some of the replication will be billions of dollars, but you only do what you can. Okay. And you repeat it. How many times do you repeat it? According to Andrew Ng, 20. Okay. So you do this 20 times and you're an expert. Well, pretty much that's it. Pretty much start here. Go through these courses. Start from this one, prompt engineering. Then do, if you still have interest, do the LangChain course. After that, it's up to you what you learn. And it's also up to you what practical applications you have. And finally, what papers you read. I think that's a plan. Maybe it's a lifelong plan, but it is a plan. All right. So, guys, thank you very much. As Mukund asked me not to stop, right? Not to stop the meeting. So we're here, right? But I'm not sure if that will be very interesting. So thank you very much. I mean, very interesting for everyone. Thank you, guys. Have a great weekend, and I see you next week, right?
Hey, Mark. So, are we ready?
I am.
Okay, great. So, yeah, I am working on some of these AI-driven products in various fields, and of course, some of the fields the products are coming out good. Um, and the question which I had is, how's your experience with raising funds?
Good question. Well, statistics tells you that raising funds, only 1 out of 100 raises funds. And there are two levels. First of all, get it from the friend. So if you find a friend who will invest in you, that is good. And that statistics is probably much better. You might have your own funds. You might have a friend or relative or family member, right? That's a possibility. But no, John, no, sorry. I don't know what the problem with Yahoo Calendar is, but you see, I'm not an expert on that. What you can do is just put it on your calendar, okay? FFF, I'm not sure. Friends, family, and fools. That is really true. Okay, but then that's not interesting. What I so far said, it's not really information. But I got in touch with a certain company which I like just because the name was Qubit. And Qubit, I thought, has something to do with quantum computing. That turns out no. The guys know nothing about quantum computing, just a nice name. And according to them, the chances to get funded if you're an AI startup is between 60 to 80%. Well, I didn't very much believe in that, but I started the process. So if that process results in something, I'll tell you. Another thing that I can recommend, so far good, right?
Yeah.
Okay, is Microsoft. That's an amazing thing, what they do, because I think they're real, they're serious. It's that hub. So you have the Founders Hub, startups, Microsoft. So if you're an AI-related startup, and that's what we're talking about anyway, right? You might get at least 25,000, and the only condition to get more is to spend the previous ones. That's unbelievable. It's fairy tale. And a very smart move, I would say, on Microsoft part, especially if you have those hundreds of thousands to give out, right? But what's the cost to them? It's probably not $1, $2. It's probably less. Who knows? It may be just like the spot market is about 1/5 of the real. So perhaps to them, this 150 is only 30. Still a lot of money. And that's what they're giving. Well, that plus your plan, plus your AI related startup slide deck, let's put it this way, that gives you much higher chance just because the market is crazy and it's very hot. So just like in the dot-com boom era, it was just call yourself any kind of .com, and $500,000 will surely come. Well, I think it's about this time. What do you think?
Right. So, have you ever raised funds?
Mhm. Yes, I have not an amazing amount. Once it was close to 100,000, another time, but in these areas.
Okay, great. So, okay, do you have time? Like, you can be on, let's say, part of some company, like one of the companies I have. You can, let's see, if I invite you to join, like, how is your, how is it? How would it go?
Yes. The thing is that I'm running Skya. Skya is right here. So it's pretty old, that thing. It's like 2 years old, but that is still more or less what I do, except that I discovered that I'm not only working on one product. I am helping all others who want to become an AI startup. So what do I give them? I give them whatever startups need. If I implement something that is part of the cloud organization, the architecture, and they pretty much need the same thing, implementation with AI. So yeah, we can talk about this. I cannot promise, because now we're talking about Okay, I'll see your question, so we'll come back to that. So I don't promise because I will have to talk to you and make sure that it makes sense. I had two failures. Okay, one guy sounded like he knows everything, and he was extremely good in his profession. But that's exactly the point. You read in every book that many people think that they're great, let's say, plumbers, and therefore they can run a plumbing business. No, there's no equality sign between the two. So I failed twice in a different way. It's just like in life. It's too easy to fail because first, maybe he makes no sense, doesn't know anything. Just because somebody uses an phone app doesn't mean that he knows how to architect one, and more than that doesn't mean that he knows the business. And that's number one. And number two, well, another startup didn't quite work out for that much bigger reasons. Okay, now Al, your question, don't you have to have an MVP before raising funds? Well, that's the standard way, yes. It's much easier because when you raise funds, they want to have a model, and if you have nothing built and no idea what you will build, then you must be somebody. Like I remember a few people who are somebody and they just say, well, I'm going to start something, just give me money, however much. And if you're somebody, you'll get like 500,000, 2 million, depends upon who you are. But practically, if you have a wonderful idea, well, who knows? Maybe you need an MVP, maybe you can do without. Now, in my case, I had something working, but the very first time, maybe they shouldn't have invested. Okay. But I still want to give back to everybody who invested, and that's the plan. And who knows? Okay, so you see, I'm very vague on that. Was that your question?
Yeah. So what I will like to do, or what we can do, is I can like make you part of the fundraising drive, and of course, of the part of the product team. Of course, I'll introduce to the details to the MVP and all those things at some point. And because the ideas are good, MVP is also good, and on one product we do have some few customers, and the other one has a good amount of breadth and depth. We are using ChatGPT, GPT-4, and of course the deep learning techniques, and the application area is also wide. So yeah, I'll definitely introduce all those things. And
Okay,
when I talk,
so again, I don't promise, but let's talk.
yeah, and what we can do is when I talk to the VCs and some of the, let's see, that could be seed funding or it could be post seed. Yeah, I'll mention that the team which I'm already working with in terms of development, and of course I'll mention like you also that you're one of the experts.
That's my calendar.
What's that?
That's my calendar on chat.
Okay, sure, yeah.
And just request a meeting.
Right. So here, what I can do is tell them about you also, that you're you are one of the person I'm talking to, and we can be part of the further activities related to the product.
Yes, sure.
And
You're welcome
yeah,
to do that.
yeah,
And
one
here's my,
something very quick. Which areas you're strong in terms of verticals?
oh,
Like legal, you're showing medical, then it.
legal, not medical.
Oh, okay. You do know medical guys? Uh,
Well, I wouldn't consider myself as I worked with medical that failed, so I don't think that's a great anything.
you know what
I
I might.
did work at medical company. Yeah, I can talk the talk, but it's not serious. We can try.
Yeah, but we can talk to the medical guys, right?
Yes, sure.
Uh, and last quick question. So, what kind of medical guys we are looking at?
No idea. For that, no idea.
Like as an example, medical, like insurance, or the doctors themselves, or
Well, insurance, that's much more, that's my LinkedIn. Insurance is much more of e-discovery because that's almost a lawsuit, every insurance claim. So that's one thing. You know what? You might do this. You might want to get on my Skype program and you can be developing something with me.
right. And we
Okay.
can be talking more on some of these developments, and I'll kind of give you some of these ideas, and so that you can also talk to the VCs, as these are, and I'm also going to be talking, so we can like do parallel search on the VC front, how much money we would need. So yeah, let's talk more. Yeah.
Okay, and then I forgot to mention. So at Microsoft, you get also enormous amounts of tools. One of them is organizing yourself for fundraising. And I was always thinking, well, I should at least start using that. So we can start using that.
Right.
I have some other.
Yeah, yeah. You know people in
Um,
the VC community?
Yes, I know some, but ECVC is very, very little chance. For that, you need to be already past the friends and the relatives. So I cannot say that I know 2 or 3, but that's not serious.
Let's say we got MVP, we got early customers, so I think that's a good stage, right?
It is, but again, maybe if it is AI, your chances are bigger. But it's all custom conversation. It's nothing generic.
Okay, very good. Yeah, so nice talking. We will kind of continue the efforts.
Okay, thank you.
Great.
Wishing you
Great.
good luck.
Sure,
Hey,
thanks.
Everybody have a good week. Yes.
I just have a question.
Yes.
So, in your applications, are you using any streaming scenarios?
Streaming like
So let's say
streaming.
there is a data streaming,
Yes. Okay.
and then applying these models right on, so on this particular data that you're getting streamed, you'll be applying some AI models on it. So is there any such sort of applications you guys are working on?
Well, right now, no, but I did work with tools that do this. And I don't see too many people who are using AI because of its speed. That's mostly the problem. But we teach Kafka, and that's how we might organize at least that part. But you know what? Let's go back to share screen. So if you look for Kafka LLM, is there anything that people try to do it? A real-time generative AI, but that medium which I will avoid. Again, another medium guy. So he looks like he wants this kind of project. That's all. And to add engineering towards data science. So it looks like there's little real stuff. Okay. Maybe.
Yeah, I'm working on
It seems like
projects.
it's possible, yes. I haven't heard about any great success, but people like Uber must be working on something like that. So yes, the right technologies, it's working pretty well. You can do searches on streaming, and you can do SQL on streaming. What is your project?
So right now, it's just a data, let's say a kind of a data migration scenario, okay? And then it's just like we'll be streaming the data from those tables, and then applying these models straight away on them. And then, getting the results. I mean, this is kind of like still a kind of POC stage right now. So thought of checking if you guys are doing such sort of anything.
Right now, no. But what else suggests us, look, that sounds like a good topic to discuss. So let's do this. Let's go here. And we always think of what we will do next. So I'm putting it here. That suggestion, right?
Okay.
So next week, if it works, maybe I'll come up with some discussion of what could be done. That's interesting. What you are saying and doing is because the slides that I mentioned here, they are talking that there is a definite, everybody is already in production. POC, everybody's past POC, or at least 60% of people. And that's what you bring. You bring some more practical, more complicated use cases. It's beyond just ask ChatGPT to translate into pirate language. It's more complex now. Oh, somebody just asked me, yes, I'm going to teach a course, or at least they accept it, about anomaly detection and prediction of failures in the real-time data of water consumption and power consumption. Okay, that's on my plate. That's what I said I can teach, but I haven't started. I started by looking at the data on Kaggle, let's say, to find anything, because of course they cannot give me their data. It's some kind of water department in the government. I said, you know what, you cannot give me the data already. Give me the fields, at least that. Give me the fields. I'll find a data set that will have a similar fields, and maybe we can do some prototype. Interesting.
Sure.
Everything is very interesting. Lots of interesting use cases.
Yeah, sure. And how to contact you? Like, is there any email I can reach out to you?
Yes, email is the easiest. Mark at there. Oh, I didn't direct it to the everyone. Now, here's Mark at there. All right, guys. Extremely interesting discussion. Yes,
One quick question. So
yes,
are
please.
you let's say some guys are looking for jobs or for placements besides what they are
Am I
doing.
hiring? Not yet, because I have one kind of permanent program. I have another who came as let me learn first and then let's see if I can be useful. And
No,
as you
I'm
see,
not,
if we are funded, that will change because I have quite a few projects. Especially the Sky program may result in each individual suggestion, maybe another project. What was your
And
question? Maybe I didn't understand your question.
yeah. What I was asking is, how are your contacts within the industry? Like different companies, you can like refer to people or place them, and of course you get a fee for that also.
Thank you. No, I'm not good at that at all.
But
I know I'm not.
you do have contacts where you can refer, right? And
Well, it doesn't help. I have big LinkedIn, right? If I go to my LinkedIn,
let's go from there, huh?
so that's me, right? And how many? Like 10,000. But so what? I have 10,000 contacts. Who cares? And if you write to them, they care even less.
Yeah, that's one way of doing it. Yeah.
But I work as a trainer. And as a trainer, I work with channels. That's who sells my company training. I don't do sales direct. And that's what they do. They work the LinkedIn, and that's a full day job to find trainers, to find contracts. I know how to do it, but that's not my strong point at all.
Right. So maybe of course I'll take a look at this, and then maybe at some point I can talk to you about maybe this company, that company, this group, and maybe you can advise stock here. So yeah, we can do something like that.
Well,
Yeah.
maybe, but I'm not saying I'm good everywhere. I noticed that even though I get excited about any kind of thing, but my major thing is the Sky program and that tool, and you can actually do some interesting projects with AI using the tool that was already there.
Sure. Yeah.
All right, guys, is that okay?
Great. Great.
All right,
Thanks, Mark.
everybody. Thank you.
Thanks.
And I
Mhm.
like this friends, family, and food. Yeah. All
Yes.
right, be well. Be well.